Ontario Solicitor General Sylvia Jones joins NetNewsLedger to talk about guns, gangs, and human trafficking.
It's James with NetNewsLedger joining us from down in the southern part of the province, where it's probably a little warmer than the 6.6 degrees it is here in Thunder Bay, is Solicitor General Sylvia Jones. Sylvia, welcome to NetNewsLedger.
Pleasure to be here, James.
We have a problem in Ontario with gangs. Toronto's been struggling with gang violence, and it's spread into the western end of Ontario up here in the north, with Thunder Bay seeing issues with gangs. What do our readers and viewers need to know about what the province of Ontario is doing to tackle this problem?
Well, you're absolutely right. I mean, it's no surprise to many of us that gangs and criminals don't respect municipal boundaries. So a lot of what we have been focusing on as a government and as a ministry is to make sure that the police and the communities have the resources and to fight the gangs. But what I'm most pleased about is the fact that we are granting a lot more grants and funds for what I call collaborations. So when the City of Thunder Bay wants to work with the OPP because they see cross activity with gangs, we're funding those programs because we feel it really is speaks to why you don't have municipal boundaries as a stopgap.
Now, the province has been putting a lot of resources into this. How are things going in partnership with the federal government? The federal government seems to be moving towards a gun control measure, and there seems to be a little bit of a discrepancy, especially out here in northwestern Ontario, on that issue.
Yeah, you're right. It's frankly a little disheartening to see that the federal government is focusing on the gun owners in the province of Ontario when stats clearly show that the vast majority of guns that are used in criminal activity come illegally across the border. So when we have our meetings with Minister Bill Blair and the other provinces' Solicitor Generals, we very much focus on what the stats show, that upwards of 70% of the guns that are used in criminal activities come across the border illegally. So we have pleaded and we continue to have conversations with the feds that say, if you want to help and alleviate guns and gang activity in Canada and particularly in Ontario, then do a better job of stopping them at the border.
The one issue that we're hearing from some of our readers up here is that these gangs seem to be in Thunder Bay. They literally take women and they take them into the human trafficking side. Ontario's been making strides on that. What can you share with us?
Oh, I could talk for hours about human trafficking and the opportunities of what we have done as well as what we intend to do. Premier Ford has tasked Jill Dunlop and the Associate Minister for Children and Women's Issues and myself as Solicitor General with coming up with a cross-ministry government-wide approach to dealing with human trafficking. You are 100% right. Gangs see human trafficking as a very lucrative place to secure money so that they can continue their other criminal activities. You know, I don't want to be flippant, but the truth is when they can coerce a young woman or man into human trafficking, there is no cost to the gangs to do this. So it is a very lucrative pathway for money. And so we've announced a number of things as recently as yesterday. We have some digital tools that will be used in our schools with the health and physical education curriculum that will literally teach people and teach young people what to look for. You know, that young man who is showering you with gifts and luring you is actually preparing you for a life of human trafficking. And so we've put some modules together, many of them digital, because we know that's where young people spend a lot of their time, educating them. There are a number of initiatives that we have funded with police forces as well as community agencies, because even as police find and rescue these young survivors, we have to have the programs and the treatments in place to make sure that they can safely remove themselves from that life. And even in Thunder Bay, pleased to announce recently just over 800,000 specifically related to human trafficking initiatives. So there's lots of pieces to it. I hope to be able to share some other initiatives that are coming down the pipe in the fall and early winter, but it's very much a cross-ministry approach.
One question from a couple of our readers has been, in testifying against a gang member or a witness, what can be done to make sure that those witnesses are safe? There's a lot of retribution that seems to be happening in this area, and
fear,
and everywhere.
Yeah, so those are projects that we've been working with the Attorney General on, specifically related to human trafficking. We're trying to find pathways that basically the survivor does not have to face her accuser in court, because that intimidation is still very much at play. And, you know, there's no lack of creativity on the criminal side of life. They have worked out ways to delay court proceedings, and that just draws out and is further frustrating and nerve-wracking for the individuals who do have to appear or want to appear. I liken it to, while at the end of the day, I want them off the street and I want them in jail, if there is another way that we can successfully achieve that without re-victimizing the human trafficking survivor, then we're looking at that with the Attorney General.
Minister, I want to thank you for taking the time to join and help us with letting our readers up here in Thunder Bay and Northern Ontario and across the province. And I hope to speak to you again soon.
I would enjoy that. Thank you, James.
Thank you.
Stay informed and stay up to date. Hit subscribe, hit like, share this with a friend. Make sure you hit the little bell so you get notified the next time that we have a video up. Thanks for tuning in to NetNewsLedger.